This is where my heart is. This is where my soul is. You know, like eventually.
And this is Jess Paul. You know, selfism is one of those wheel categories that I literally have an entire full page, 2 years worth of Word document ideas to keep me going forever. But I didn't look at it once. Because if we really are to reflect the week-to-week reality and answer the question, who is Jess Paul? Then I guess this week I'm pumpkin spice. I am that cliche that your buddies make fun of on Facebook. I proudly wear the badge of getting way too overexcited when the local Home Goods gets their Halloween decorations out. It's like there's a clock inside me that tells me when it's that time of year, when I feel that I need to burrow into a mustard yellow sweater and a burnt umber suede skirt. But this isn't new to the long timers. I've definitely made content around just this time of year, even though California doesn't even experience that kind of weather. In fact, we're on fire right now. It actually leaves this deceptively amber, antique color over the sun so that we look like we are trying to survive the 1930s. Call this a bit of therapy. I've got my actual pumpkin spice coffee in one of my Halloween mugs. I've got my entire makeup station moved to the floor of my bedroom, and I am hopefully going to be impressing you with my very basic and very unpracticed makeup skills. If you ever really wanted to know what I do when I turn off my lights for the night, I turn on my computer and I go on some websites where I spend all night looking at cozy autumn vibe blogs. There's so many of them. If you even just type autumn into Tumblr, you won't even understand the kind of world that you're going to be faced with. And going on all of my pumpkin spice blogs also led me to a world I didn't think I'd ever be a part of. The ASMR community. I never really understood what ASMR was for or who necessarily needed it, but when I realized that it will play for you and show you a window outside to a warm, rainy autumn day, I was like, this was made for me. This was made for me. I haven't seen rain in months, and I don't know if it's an East Coaster coming to the West Coast or if it's really just part of the makeup of my soul. For this fantastic tutorial that's going to be teaching you so much, we're going to experience a little bit of fall rain and possibly a little spooky music while we turn me into... When I thought of how fall can we go with selfism, I'm like, let's do a Spirit of the Woods character, which in essence is a pile of leaves. And I was actually really happy with that, but as I kept thinking about what more I could do with my time, my concept continued to evolve, and I thought of a sort of little surprise, an extra element to this spooky autumn makeup that people might get tickled by or might creep out anybody who wants to be my friend. So we're going with Spirit of the Woods plus a twist. But if we're going to really dive into fall, beautiful pile of leaves that's going to be, let's talk some autumn. I asked you 10 questions and told you that I was going to read them on my show, so hopefully everybody signed off on that. And we're going to experience fall together in a very interactive way. Wow, this is coming along already. First thing I asked you guys is, what was the best Halloween costume you ever wore? Missy says crazy cat lady, as if I'm not going to escape that fate in reality. Lindsay says, not the best, but my favorite was Sleeping Beauty when I was like 10. I thought I was a princess. Man, I wonder when I stopped wanting to be a princess. I guess after I realized I didn't want anyone paying for and deciding on my room and board. Another person wore a navy sweatsuit, had a rubber chicken tied around her with a cord, and she was a chicken cordon bleu. Alicia says, when I was in grade school, I wanted to be a Christmas tree. Sure enough, my mom made a spectacular Christmas tree costume with tinsel and ornaments. Too bad I couldn't figure out lights back then in the day. Wish I had a photo of it. Speaking of photos, My sister Katie sent over a bunch of mild costumes that we used to dress up when we were little, and I haven't looked at them yet. Let's look at them together, shall we? Oh, here's a picture of us subjecting some kid to having to pee for 30 minutes and not being able to do anything despite being surrounded by toilet paper. Posh Spice here, Pumpkin Spice now. I don't even know what that character is. No idea. Steve says, I have a few go-to costumes for Halloween. The hands-down favorite is Frankenstein's monster. The homemade boots are a fan favorite. I've definitely homemade boots before for Captain Jack Sparrow, which is one of my costumes that I've done. I've talked about it in another episode if you would like to mosey on over for that. But if I could pick my favorite costume, you know what? I'm gonna go with a recent favorite, and it was the Mad Baker. This character that I strung together in like 24 hours to go to a party last year that turned out being adorable. It was just a bunch of adults carving pumpkins and playing with a kitten. Best time ever. Where I debuted my donuts and became, I embodied like my brand basically. My sister Katie says, my monster mashup, I was a bunch of different monsters all in one costume. Vampire, mummy, werewolf, skeleton, witch. I love getting into my characters, but that is too many at one time, Katie. Marietta says, last year's historical Halloween costume, I dressed as a young Mary Todd Lincoln. For my students, this year I'll be a young Martha Washington. That sounds like my list of people that I could play in biopics. Wonder if this eyebrow will be a problem. We'll get rid of it. No, we're not. No, we're not. Not tonight. So I think my sketch is done. If you dig so far, I can see where it's going. And now I'm going to apply some of my eyeshadow collection. Oh, did I mention I'm not a professional. I don't know what I'm doing. If that wasn't apparent, and also wasn't how all the best beauty gurus started out. But I'm going to be taking some basic sink water, and I'm going to be wetting some of my shadows so that I can make something hopefully beautiful. My visions are always a journey to get through. I was not kidding about the pumpkin spice, by the way. It's my own blend, meaning I took a bunch of McCormick's and I just mixed them all up. I have to say, for a really quick, rough, and dirty beginning, that is not a bad start. Still some detail to be had, but I think my vision's kind of already coming together. Let's hear a couple more of your answers on why you love fall so much, a subject I love talking about. Go-to fall recipe. Missy says pumpkin chocolate chip muffins, because when you are going to have a treat, you're going to have a treat. Yeah, Rachel, yep, I'm a soup too. My favorite recipe, if I must indulge. It's a stuffed pepper, but when you're feeling a little bit autumny, you turn that stuffed pepper into a jack-o'-lantern when you didn't think chili could get any cuter. I asked your favorite autumn activity. Missy says, scary movies by candlelight. You know how to creep it up, Missy. Alexa says, carving pumpkins or walking in the cemetery by my house. What about carving pumpkins in the cemetery? Then you can just like really streamline the autumnness. Getting apple cider at Tice's farm. I want to know Tice. Does he have a hookup for me? Marietta says, hiking in the woods. Maybe that's where you'll find me. Let's keep going, shall we? I asked you your favorite fall drink or food that you didn't have to make, and I got pumpkin everywhere, including best drink was a pumpkin spiced White Russian. That is one way to enjoy Halloween and not remember it. That's about all we can muster up with a beauty makeup, if you can call it one. But here is the spirit of the woods. I like how during my makeup application, I was like showing my future self who was editing this, asking for help to tell me if it was actually straight or not, or detailed, or where my pen was actually going. Is this looking impressive, or is it just me? Or is it just in the viewfinder, or is it just at a distance? Like, you guys gotta tell me, like, did this work out, or is this a mess? And I got a little bit more personal into asking you about your fall nostalgia and cozy feelings when I asked you, name a Halloween memory that still scares you. Alexis says, didn't really scare me, but late at night I swear I saw a spirit or something right by the cemetery by my house. I'll be scared for you, Alexis, if that's something that you want. I have enough 30-year-old still afraid of ghost fear to go around. Lindsay said, almost got hit by a car on Halloween when I was 6. Lindsay! We don't trick-or-treat to the cars, just to the houses. Katie says, going to see Green Man's Tunnel in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh legend. I know that you're just name-dropping, Katie, because going to Green Man's Tunnel was not scary. Unless, did I go? Was I too afraid to go? I barely have a memory of going to Green Man's Tunnel, of the actual going to it, that might have skipped out altogether, and I guess it really is scary. How about a dearest autumn outfit or accessory? Do I creep you out when I look at you like this? Ooh, I see a lot of knee-high boots, which is a way to stay warm and sexy at the same time. A comfy sweater because it's basically like a warm hug from autumn. I didn't know a season could love me so much. Strokes and Strings says, a plaid scarf my cousin Christina gave me. Yes, this is the time of year where we can wear our plaid proudly. I say as if this shirt is not the first thing that I wear out of the laundry every single week. And Katie says, all my cute Halloween sweatshirts. Let's see a parade of Katie in her Halloween sweatshirts. Okay, 2. She sent me 2. Funny enough, the only Halloween time selfie that I can feel that I remember is actually in that same sweatshirt, which we also realized was once our grandmother's. It's been passed around the family for sure. In case you're not getting it, that's Mickey in a ghost costume. And on the back, it's his little tail just sticking out of the ghost costume like a darling. But if we're gonna get spooky, let's get spooky. We've come to that point in the episode where I have to do the other half of my face. We're gonna dip our toes a little bit into the horror genre, or the reality of things that are scary genre. And I'm going to become something underneath the leaves. Let's see who gets it first. So, are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? Here's the evolution of my idea. I'm like, spirit of the woods. Just majestic. Maybe put a beauty eye on this side to make it look like really mystical and beautiful and feminine. And then I'm like, well, what do I do with the other half of my face? Something underneath the mask of leaves? And then I thought, let's put a corpse. So imagine you're walking through the woods. You're trying to enjoy the nice autumn day as the leaves begin to fall in their many different colors. And then you trip over something. Something that's not always on the path that you walk every single day. It's me! Man, first Halloween makeup of the year and I ain't even mad at it. At least that's my hot take. Hey, it's audience choice. You guys want to tell me what you want to see? Because I would love to know. If I didn't annoy you on this video, then I might not annoy you on the second one. I do artsy crap like this all the time. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But that's the fun of the spin. Comment down below if you know what you're going to be for Halloween this year, and if it matters that you can't go where a lot of people are standing. In my heart, Halloween always has a place, whether we go trick-or-treating or not. When the contaminants on our candy can actually kill us this year, I still have the spirit of Halloween. And this is my outro.